Hello, welcome back to my channel. This is a breaking news from CNN. It's like CNN is about to reverse its prediction that Joe Biden will be the next president of USA. From the analysis, which you will see from this video, something dramatic is likely to happen through CNN's analysis. So I would like you to watch the clip, and after which we can continue with our discussion on this very issue. Thank you. Be patient and watch through.
Are legal and constitutional that could enable Trump to stay in office without actually winning the vote. The system of electing the president is complicated because it was not designed to be directly democratic. The Constitution calls for states to choose the presidential electors, who in turn gather to vote for the president. Over time, states have passed laws that ensured their state's popular vote for the presidency would determine the electors. But those are laws, not a constitutional obligation. Now, imagine the scenario during election week. Trump is leading on November 3rd, but Joe Biden pulls ahead in the days following. Republicans file objections to tens of thousands of mail-in ballots. Democrats file countersuits. Taking account of the confusion, legislators decide to choose the electors themselves. Here's the worry. Of the 9 swing states, 8 have Republican legislatures. If one or more decide that balloting is chaotic and marred by irregularities, they could send what they regard as the legitimate slate of electors, which would be Republican. Democrats may object and file lawsuits. In some of those states, Democratic governors or secretaries of state could send their own slates of electors to Washington. That would add to the confusion, but that might well be part of the Republican plan. Because you see, when Congress convenes on January 6th to tally the electors' votes, there would be challenges to the legitimacy of some electors. It's possible congressional Republicans could decide that disputed states should simply not be counted. Suppose in this scenario, Michigan's votes are invalidated. That would ensure that neither candidate would get to 270 electoral votes. At that point, the Constitution clearly directs that the House of Representatives vote to determine the presidential election. But it does so with each state casting a single ballot. If the current numbers hold, there would be 26 state delegations that are Republican and 23 Democratic, with one tied. So the outcome would be to re-elect Donald Trump. Trump doesn't need to do anything other than to simply accept this outcome, which is constitutional.
Oh yes, that is it. Here we are. It's likely that CNN has suddenly realized that actually their prediction that Joe Biden is going to be the next president is unrealistic, I would say. Yes, judging from what is happening in Pennsylvania, the public hearing about election fraud and the subsequent legal battles or suits that is ongoing in Pennsylvania, there is no doubt that 100% confusion has set in there. The same thing is likely to apply or is applying in Georgia. We have seen the first recount and the second recount is ongoing. Again, there are lawsuits going on as well as we speak. So there is no doubt that this confusion, which CNN just said, had already set in, because the winner of Georgia is not yet clear until maybe the court will decide it finally. So the confusion is already there. The public hearing of election fraud is something that will definitely take place in Georgia as well. People have to state, like the way they did in Pennsylvania, if and when there were frauds. So this actually is something that has put confusion in the mind of the Georgians. The same thing is also applying in Arizona. People are there. I mean, the Republicans there will likely have to hold the same public hearing about voters' fraud. And as we are speaking, some cases are also in court in Arizona. The same thing, the same confusion. What about Wisconsin? There is a recount going on as well. There is allegations of fraud, electoral fraud, and commencement of legal battle as well. So, hearing from the public, from those who allege that there were election malpractices, such hearing is coming up as well in Wisconsin. So, the confusion which CNN is talking about had equally set in there. So, let's go to Michigan. Michigan, there is already court cases going on. The legal battle there is very, very serious, a very serious one. And most likely, there will be public hearing as well from those who allege that there were malpractices during the voting and the counting period. So, what are we going to see? It's exactly what CNN is just explaining. Instead of CNN to simply tell us, look, there is no point for Joe Biden celebrating or being sure of being the next president for the next 4 years. That the whole battle is going to be a waste of time because Trump is definitely going to be the next president. I think this is what CNN is just about to tell us, but they have to make it very clear. Well, that is it. We'll keep watching the situation. This very week that is setting in now is going to be very, very dramatic. I think so. We will see how the whole thing plays out. Thank you for watching. Spread this news. Spread it by sharing. Subscribe as we continue to monitor the whole situation. Thank you, and God bless you.